Hello everyone, my name is Ariadna Gonzalez Solis, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey as a scientist. So I am originally from Mexico City, and that's where I grew up. And ever since I was little, I was always interested in nature, in the natural sciences. I was always very curious and also interested in learning new things. So from there, I started my journey going through to the university in Mexico City, where I did my undergrad in chemistry. I also completed a master's there in biochemistry, followed by then another master's in biotechnology at the University of Leeds in the UK. I did my PhD here in the US at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And currently, I am a postdoc at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So this is a little bit of my journey, how I became a plant scientist, and that's what I do today. So in my everyday life, I do experiments in a laboratory, and basically because I want to know more about plants, how plants work. And this is just a picture of me in my working in the lab, just doing some reactions. Sometimes we do extractions of different compounds from plants. Sometimes we just look through a microscope just to understand more about plant structures. And so I also really enjoy teaching. So I teach science to undergrads and also to high school students. This is just an example when we were doing extraction of different pigments from food and then separating them based on their different characteristics. So this is a lot of fun. And today I want to just briefly give you guys 3 examples of some work that I've done as a scientist. And the first is about potatoes, second is about beer, and the third one is about the work that I currently do using this plant that it's called Arabidopsis thaliana. So first example, and I'm pretty sure you all have peeled potatoes and you have all noticed how sometimes potatoes develop these brown black spots. And this is not something very nice because then some of the final products, for example, potato chips, can end up having these like brown dark spots that are not desirable for a final product. So it turns out that there's enzymes, there's proteins in the potatoes that can produce some reactions that will end up developing these brownie spots. So in some research where I participated some years ago, we were interested in knowing how this process works and understanding how these proteins present in potatoes, if we know more about this, we can prevent this browning to happen, or at least reduce it. So the more we know about different potato varieties and the content of these enzymes, and the more we know how this process works, then we can improve different final products of potatoes. So this is one example. Other example is I was also involved in working in this project about beer. So I'm pretty sure you all have seen different types of beers. And you know that beer comes from barley, right? So, and barley, again, has different profile of proteins. So if we also try to understand more about the different profile of proteins present in barley, then we can understand more about how different proteins can impact not only the taste, the color, also the quality of the foam, another characteristic of the beer. So by understanding more about the plant where the beer comes from, then we can improve more about the final product. And the third example I want to talk briefly today is about how plants can resist different stresses every day. So as you know, plants cannot just run and put a coat on in case that it's cold. For example, here we have in Lincoln, Nebraska, during the winter, it gets really cold. However, if you go to the south, for example, in New Mexico, the white sands, the plants that live there, they are dealing with another type of stress, right? With the high light and also with very warm temperatures. And it could happen also like in this last picture that sometimes we have flooding. So also the plants need to cope with other type of stresses like floods. So we have different type of stresses, wounding, drought, different amounts of salts present in the soil, excess light, attack of pathogens, heavy metals present. So all these could be stressful situations that the plant needs to cope with. So one way that we are trying to understand how the plant can resist or can be adapted to different environments, we need to learn what happens inside the cell. So this is just a cartoon showing like a plant cell. Here we have like at the top, the surface, some of the cuticle, then the cell wall. And then, as you know, we have then a plasma membrane that it's made of lipids. So I've been for a while studying these lipids in the membrane and how they are involved in the responses to different stresses. Then if we inside the cell, as you know, there are other organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi, and the nucleus. And all of these are affected depending on the different stresses that the plants that the plants need to fight. So what I'm doing right now in my postdoc is we want to look into a cell, and for that we have this electron microscope. You can see here in this picture. This is a very powerful tool, and you can see here how this microscope takes like basically a whole room. So we need this very powerful tool to then go very in detail to look at a cell. So here in this other picture, what we have is a plant cell. It looks very different to how it looks in the cartoon, right? So here we have the chloroplast, and then basically the backroll is taking mostly all the space inside this cell. And so with these powerful tools, and we can learn more about what's happening inside the cell, and we can actually look at it. And so this has been very interesting, and this is some of the examples of the work that I did in the past and I'm doing currently, and with the overall goal of learning more about how plants work and how can we improve some of the things. So I show you a little bit of my path in science, and I also want to really mention that so science has been great for me. I really love what I do. I've learned a lot throughout the years from different people. I enjoy teaching students, mentoring students. It's always a lot of collaboration with other people from different parts of the world. And I've had the opportunity to visit different labs and learn from different perspectives. So I really enjoy what I do. And I really hope that my work could have like a good impact in society. And I hope I can continue teaching and getting in touch with students and teaching them more about what they can do in the future. This is just my email. If you have any questions, if you want to contact me. And in my free time, I also enjoy hiking and biking. So thank you for your attention, and bye.